Hello, welcome, namaste to the Soul to Soul Conversations podcast. I'm Caroline Crawford, and this is the Energetics Update for March 2026. So I really hope that this podcast finds you well. To be completely honest, I've just come out of 10 days of not feeling so great. Started off with some little throat symptoms, that got not very nice at all. And then went to headaches, but my energy was just at almost zero for 2 or 3 days. I was just horizontal. Doing lots of self-healing when I could, just really trying to relax, drinking lots of fluids and really just taking care to nourish myself. And then slowly I've started to kind of pick up again. But I did send, I'm just going to share this with you. I don't normally share things like this, but I just think this is a time of such great change, and just with all the chaos that's going on, I think it's important to just be aware of certain things that may be taking place where you are. As you know, I'm in Florida in USA, and daily we see and hear lots of things taking place, and it's really important to remain focused. But when I wasn't well, we got in touch with my radionic practitioners, and they read my field and said that not to alarm anybody, but they said I had, as well as Roundup, which is something they spray on the gardens and the chemical on the plants and things to keep weeds down. It's full of glyphosate, so there was that in my system, but there was also a number of other things, including, which to my great surprise, was mustard gas. Now, I looked it up. I thought, well, what is mustard gas? And it was something, it's a chemical that was used in warfare. So, well, where is this coming from? And I've had various friends that are very knowledgeable that say, yes, it's probably being sprayed in the air. There's so many things going on. But it's really important that we focus on our health and our well-being. And those of us that are sensitive, I think it only takes something that brings us down a little or upsets us, or for some reason we're just out of harmony for a little while, and then these things can affect us more. I have been going over trying to think how I was before that happened, and I can't really pinpoint anything, but I know I had been sneezing a lot for quite a long while, and this throat was kind of on and off. So I feel I've been fighting it for some time. And I always say this to people and my friends, and Paul knows that if I have time off work, it's like my higher self goes, right, let's get these out of a system now so it can clear. And that's exactly what happened. I had 3 or 4 days off of work, clear that I was actually going to do some writing, and this just kicked in and everything came out. So I was able to rest. I was able to just take that time to really nourish myself. I had some radionics, I had some homeopathy, I was drinking thyme and mullein tea because it went a little bit down here, and using tea tree and lavender, Epsom salt baths, you name it, I was doing it. But most of all, getting lots of rest and lots of positive thoughts. And in the first few days when I was at my worst, I would say physically, I was very humorous. I was thinking of things that made me laugh. So I think that's why it didn't, I came out of it quite quickly. Although my energies were low for another week, the not so nice symptoms really did subside quite quickly. So just be aware, I know there's lots of chemicals in things that we're eating, that are in the bathroom, that are around the house. We actually did a whole program on this. I'll perhaps get Paul to put something down in the notes. So it's just being aware of as much as we possibly can. I mean, we have to go out, we have to breathe. So just take that time to keep your system as positive as you can. And on that note, I'm just going to say it's so important that we keep our field clean. It's really important right now. So if things do, with all this that's going on in the world, and I'm not going to talk about those things because I think there's enough of it everywhere we go and everywhere we look. But there's so many things that we could say would, ruffle your feathers, would upset you or make you quite angry, that feel very unjust. But it's very important that to keep our field clean, we respond from that place of our higher self, of our intuition, that we respond from compassion where we can. So rather than retaliating with anger or getting upset or, using angry words from a lower frequency that would then lower our energy field, if we can try and come from compassion and also just think, right, what is the best thing I can do with this situation that's coming into my field? So on a deeper understanding, we know that everything is on one level, is working out and is moving towards progress. I've said many times before that this darkness has to come out. It has to be seen so it can be transmuted. So when we keep our field clean, and when we try not to, if you like, resist that loving, positive energy, go with that flow of positivity, go with that flow of love. Because if we don't, if we get caught up in the anger and the upset and, the disappointments, then we stifle that flow from our higher consciousness. And everything, in life, every experience either constitutes an expansion in our awareness or a restriction. And when we're restricted, that loving, positive energy, that also gets restricted. So make those conscious thoughts to be open to receive that energy from your higher self, those inspirations from your spirit self. And this is when we allow that connection and that energy to come in from our higher selves, our souls, our oversouls, whatever term you use. We can then use that to feel that greater sense of connection, that sense of oneness, that sense of knowingness. And when we feel that, it also gives us a greater sense of not just positivity, but a greater sense of unity to that divine expression that we truly are. And we remind ourselves, we are extensions of the divine, and we are here to expand our consciousness, to expand our awareness. And how do we expand that? We expand it through loving thoughts, through understanding, through patience, and through being really present. And like I say, understanding on some level that things are working out and that progress is being made. Also remember, I've said this many a time before, focus on your frequency. We can't control everything that's going on in the outside world, but we can focus on how we respond and help that vibration that we then emanate out to bring about a greater harmonization and a greater positivity. And this then, it brings people together, doesn't it? Sometimes we just have to have maybe a little moan about, get things off our chest. But when we choose to really focus on our frequency and keep our field clean through that understanding, through that compassion, through our higher consciousness, we're contributing that energy out into the field, out into the collective consciousness, out into the world. And as I say, that then can evoke a far better outcome. So whatever situation may be upsetting you or making you feel anxious or angry, choose to send energies when you feel up to it of a positive nature, and know that will outweigh any negativity, because these things that are coming out now are coming out in order so we can say no more. We're not going to be accepting that sort of behavior or these sorts of things any longer. So keep your field clear. Choose your thoughts really mindfully, really consciously. Laugh as much as you can when you can. Focus on that, on that timeline of joy, that timeline of positivity, and breathe. I've been doing lots of breath work, particularly when I wasn't feeling well. I was thankfully able to breathe quite well. So let's just do a little breathing practice together now. Those of you that know me know I taught yoga and breath work for 20 years in the UK, and I still practice it very much with myself and close friends here. So just get yourself comfortable if you can. Obviously, don't close your eyes if you're driving, but let's just turn your attention inwardly. If you can, I invite you to softly close your eyes, and we're going to breathe in for 5, hold for 3, exhale for 8, and pause for 3. So let's do that together. So take a nice breath in for 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 3 and out for 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause for 3 and breathe in for 5. Hold for 3 and exhale for 8. Pause for 3 and let's do that once more. So a nice in breath for 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 2, 3. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and pause. So this is something that we can do throughout the day. You might want to think every hour I'm going to do that. I'm just going to take that time to breathe, particularly if you feel anxious or upset. Just take that time when you need a bit more healing. One more thing I was going to talk about is on the 17th of February, which was the new year. I'm sure you all know that for the Chinese, bringing in that year of the fire horse, as we're now still saying goodbye a little bit to that old wood snake, still shedding. But I was given a download in the night and it was so beautiful. It was so vivid. And the best way I can describe it, because those of you that have visions and have vivid dreams, no, it isn't always easy to convey the absolute beauty and the energy of it, but I'll do my best. So I was shown this, all I can say was a huge, elongated silver and white star. And I was told to, or I could see it coming down, and I could visualize it coming down from way above Mother Gaia. And then there were like little portals all around the world, millions of them, and there were millions of these white and silver keys flowing down. And then they were, as I can kind of trying to visualize, so they were coming down, and then they were like keys that were being placed into activation portals, they told me. And they said, now is the time. And they said for me to the next morning, which was the 17th, to go to the beach, go on my own if possible, get in the water, do some light language, because the water is such a huge conductor of energy. So I would be receiving the codes that were coming in, but I would also be sending out those codes and those frequencies, because I too had received an activation, they told me, from these silver keys. And they said, now is the time. So I hadn't been feeling great. I had this sore throat. And when I got to the beach, it was beautiful. It was quiet. It was calm. There was hardly anybody at this place I chose. And the water was cold, but I got in and I started to do the light language. Well, my light language, if you've ever heard it, is usually quite gentle. It was the most potent, powerful light language I've ever come across. It was like coming from somewhere so deep inside, and it was really powerful. And there was a certain word that it kept repeating, and I think it was Om Shanai, Om Shanai, Om Shanai, but in a light language way, really powerful. I'll perhaps try and do just one for you now. So it was like, Om Shanai, Om Shani. And if you think that was loud, when I was on the beach, I couldn't believe it. It must have travelled so far. And I was seeing all these codes coming down, these silver stars, these spirals, all sorts of codes coming down and flowing through me and out. It was so powerful and so potent. And I said to me that has activated not just me, many healers, many light workers, many starseeds that were sending out those positive thoughts out into the world to create and bring in these energies of the new earth that are here, and they're just being activated now on a much deeper, wider level. So I'm going to ask you, and I will hopefully remember at the end of this podcast, if you did anything on that day, or you felt anything that day, any particular visions, any downloads, any feelings, because I also, on that day, I felt so calm, just had this real deep inner calm. It was so nice. And even though I was running late, 'cause I had to be somewhere else, I just felt so calm, so peaceful. And they said these energies were building for 2 or 3 days before and even up until the Friday, the weekend after the 17th. So I'd love for you, if you had any visions or feelings and felt those energies in a different way, to please share them in the comments, and let's see what we can share with one another and expand that. So that was on the 17th, and I felt that since then I have felt very different. I felt it's hard to explain, as you know, but a different energy, a more confident energy, a more relaxed energy. And I feel that this is really contributing not only to me, but to one another and to those around us. And then, as they said, that is going globally. So I am going to call in the Federation of Light and see what they want to share with us. Always excited and, curious to know what they're going to share. So bear with me. Greetings, brothers and sisters. Once more, we are so excited and feel so privileged to be here with you, to have this opportunity to bring you these updates, to, in a sense, reassure you that everything is on track. As our dear sister said, these times are vital to keep your own frequency, your own energies as clear as you possibly can. Because in doing so, keeping your frequency clear, that then radiates out onto a larger field. And it's all about each one of you being very much reminded, remembering your sacred truth, the blueprint, the purposes you came here at this time, because so much more now has been activated into the field. And we know, and we want to just, shall we say, reassure you that some people we've been feeling confused about some of these timelines and different visions and things that they're experiencing, not only in your dream time, but also in your waking time. And this is because your consciousness is really upgrading now, and you're jumping timelines, and sometimes it can seem a little bit disconcerting. But we say, go to your breath, as our sister says. Know that there are so many other lifetimes that you are experiencing at this time. And we want to remind you that time isn't about past, present, and future, going from the left to the right. Time is all in sync at the same time. So it isn't moving in a linear fashion. So when you're feeling or sensing other timelines or things that you feel, was that in this life? That doesn't feel right. It's because as the energy is speeding up, you're able to sense some of these things because you're moving so quickly. And we would describe this to you as these other lives and these parallel lives and these other realities, these other timelines, as we would say, think of it as your TV. There are so many channels on that TV and you tune into one. But if you choose to churn to another channel, it doesn't mean that all those other channels, all those other frequencies are not still taking place. They are, but you're just not attuned to that frequency. So use this as an analogy. Yes, the frequency you're on, the frequency you choose to be present with, is the most important one that you choose at any given time. And you can call on that energy of your oversoul, dear ones, of your spirit, to come in and use that throat center and your heart center as they are transmitters, but they are also drawing in that energy for you to now remind yourselves of the great power each one of you holds. Reminding yourself that you are powerful beings of light. You are co-creators. You are divine fractals of the creator of all existence. And your time now, we are asking and encouraging you to really step into the fullness of your power. For so much more is to become disclosed this year, and it is happening fast and it will happen quickly. Sometimes you may even think, did that happen? Because many of our light ships, many higher beings, and including extraterrestrials, are now, remember, they are highly advanced. They are civilizations that are coming now to assist Mother Gaia and humanity to live from that place of greater harmony, that place of greater unity. And to do this, many of you have been contacting these other races, Arcturians, Syrians, Andromedans, even Lyrans, many, because you have had lifetimes with those races. That is what a starseed is. You have had lifetimes in these other star systems, and you are here now to bring that knowledge, to anchor that knowledge, to anchor that wisdom, that light, that consciousness onto Mother Gaia. And in order to do this, you are being asked to be even more open, even more receptive to these higher frequencies. It is still so important you take care of your physical body, because your nervous system is trying to recalibrate as it takes in these higher energies, these frequencies, this crystalline energy now. And it is trying, as we say, to recalibrate. So there may be times when you feel you're out of sync with that energy. And this is when we would say, drink more water, hydrate yourselves, ground yourself by being on the earth, being in nature, being by the trees, being by the water, dear ones, because as our dear sister said, the water and nature radiates these codes in higher frequencies, because they don't have the lower mind to get in the way that humans sometimes do. They just radiate from that place of pure consciousness. And your consciousness, when you are attuning to those energies without the noise, without the, shall we say, all the distortion that is being fed to you, when you radiate and align in that stillness with that higher frequency of divine consciousness, you feel empowered, you will feel calmer. We know that many of you still are hearing things from the spirit world in a much clearer way, because again, your frequency is accelerating, your frequency is rising, and that is a good thing. Some of you will all have your own talents, gifts and abilities in your own unique way. And it's important, dear ones, that you don't compare your abilities with what you may have or not have with anybody else's. That just causes separation. And you know from your wisdom that your divine happiness lies in unity, in unifying the field. And this is what these frequencies are coming in for now. As we say, there will be more disclosure. Sit quiet. Be the neutral observer. Imagine it as a play on a stage, playing out. You are that neutral observer without getting attached to any of the drama, with any, even some of the very difficult things we know for you to see and hear. Do not attach. This is when we ask you to focus on your energies, on your frequency, on where you're putting your attention. Because it will, in this quickening, may temporarily seem worse, and we want to say that word, emphasize that word, temporarily. Look at the greater picture, think about the greater picture. Look what is coming to light in order to be dissolved, to move away from. And you are all an important part of bringing in those energies to anchor into this earth. Now, there may also be a certain amount of violence, and we will say, because there are many different timelines and many probabilities, but violence is one that we find is most upsetting for light workers. If this happens, sit quietly, be in your heart, send a blanket and waves of peace to those areas, to those situations. Many of those souls that take part in that have been programmed and conditioned. They lack understanding, they lack the heart, they lack the consciousness. But by you sending that light, sending that compassion, sending that peace, you then change the trajectory of those things. Trust in this. Trust in this. There will also be, and there also has been talk of sightings and more contact with extraterrestrials, or what you may call alien beings. The ones that are here to uplift humanity are purely benevolent. Remember this. If you are given signs that they are not benevolent, then we would say, question that. Question that. Certain agencies do not want you to believe in the truth and the higher loving energies of the extraterrestrials, the higher beings of light, because they know that they are losing their hold, and the light and the technologies and the change they bring does have no place in the world for corruption, no place in the world for things that are not in alignment with authenticity, with love, with peace, compassion and unity. So hold strong in your roots, in your divine energy, in your wisdom, in your maturity, because the next few months are going to seem even more chaotic than ever, dear ones. But we are all with you. We are here to see this through with you. And we've mentioned this before and we will mention it again. The light has won. On these higher timelines, it has won. It's just this tail end playing out. So hold true to yourselves. Hold true to your light, to the divine fractal that each one of you is. And take joy in radiating that light. Take joy in your interest. Take joy in having time to be who you are and to share in the joy in your hearts, in your soul, as you share that with the world. And allow that to continue to raise the vibration, the frequency of this entire beautiful Mother Gaia. There may be relationships that fall away, but your frequency will bring the right relationships to you. Relationships that will help you grow further and expand further. So trust in that as well. We will leave it there because there is so much more we could say. But the biggest thing we want to say is trust, believe, and know that you are moving to the most extraordinarily magnificent, incredible world. Feel it, experience it. Be who you are. And feel our love always with you. Call on us whenever you need to. We are always here. And remember, center and ground yourself in the light. Send compassion, send love, send peace, and strengthen yourselves with that light. You are great, magnificent beings of light, and you are expanding so greatly now. It is a joy to see. Goodbye for now, dear sisters and brothers. We, the Federation, are always here, for you are us. We are you. We are one. We are one. And the light has won. Rejoice, celebrate, feel those resurrection energies becoming a greater part of you. Goodbye for now, dear ones. Excuse me. I have to say that I will listen back to that, but I felt there was so much that they were holding back from, because I feel that often they don't say everything they know because the energies are so malleable, they're so changeable right now. And the more of us light workers, these starseeds that are embracing and utilizing these higher energies, things can change even more quickly. So remember that focus on your frequency, that vibration that emanates from you, sending that out together with, the people that you love. Keep that ongoing expansion, because we are moving towards such great times. I know that. Feel that in your heart. Let go of the old, let go of the past, let go of anxiety, and embrace the truth and the love and the power, the divine power that we all are. I love you. Feel my love. Have a great month, and I look forward to being with you again very soon. Stay positive. Remember, keep your field clean, and anything that you may have experienced around that new year, that February the 17th, please leave in the comments. How did you feel around that time? Did you feel excited, peaceful, optimistic, powerful, empowered? How did you feel? I look forward to hearing from you. All my love. Namaste.